everybody, welcome back to QuestCast, right here on Quest Junkies. It is I, Patch, your ever humble Dungeon Master. Normally, I play everybody else, but today I'm playing the role once again as podcast host. Now, today we have a very special guest. We have Quest Junkies' well-known superstar, the creator of Ileana, creator of the Dark Powers, the manifester of chaos, the one who sparkles, whose name is also... Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. My friend, please, introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sky, known around the internet as Sky McSparkle.
Amazing, and really happy that you agreed to do a little QuestCast with us. So... we are going to go into your journey, your creative journey.
Mm-hmm.
And, the best place to start is at the beginning because, we've talked a lot about both our respective journeys, but there's a lot that I don't know, I feel. So where did it all start for you? What was Sky McSparkle the first thing, or was there anything before that?
Well, once upon a time, I was just a glint to the farmer's eye. But
We're going that far back. Wow.
Yeah. No, so before I started doing gaming content, I was a vlogger. And before I was a vlogger, I was a soldier. Before I was a soldier, I was a girl creating things and playing games. And my gamer tag at the time was Sky McSparklePants. Because of course it made me giggle, and everyone's like, oh my god, I died to Sky McSparklePants, and then they would rage. and that was a really fun time in my life, and something I've grown up doing besides gaming is traveling. And I eventually reached a point in my life where traveling was expensive, and I wanted to figure out how to do that but not have to pay for it. I thought it would be smart to join the military because I was reading. I wasn't reading military books. I'm very much a fantasy person, Kel Caprice. And I was looking at what I could do, and I saw a potential for me to be an interrogator. And I thought that would be really, really cool.
So much is making sense already.
So that's exactly what I did. I joined the military. I went around. I was a 35 mic, which is a human intelligence collector for overseas. And one day I got hurt. And I carry with me a physical disability in my lower back that I will never recover from. And we're in like a gray zone. So I have to be very careful with what I do. Otherwise it'll get worse. So I am a cripple, folks. You can't see me below the waist. I have legs. They just don't always work correctly. So when I left the military, I had a really long time where I was just bedridden for about a year. And I had to go through the process of relearning how to walk again. And in that time, I was just diving into books because all I could do was read. I couldn't even really get up and make it to my computer because I think my body was so traumatized. I was sleeping for about 16 hours a day. But slowly but surely, we got a little bit stronger. We were able to stay awake longer. Eventually, I got to where I could make it to my desk and I'd sit down and game. And I made friends with all sorts of gaming communities, and yes, some of them were toxic, but we got into things like Friday the 13th, which is so fun. So fun to hunt your friends. I started playing the Tomb Raider series basically exclusively, and I got to meet a lot of people associated with that project, and it was just such a dream come true. It was the time before there were tons of content creators, and it was like a little door that opened, and I put my foot in. And eventually, gaming was really fun. And I really loved gaming, but being bedridden for so long, I needed a break. So I bought a one-way ticket to New Zealand, and I left.
Hell of a break.
Yeah, I was like, you know what, we're going to figure it out. Life is life. We'll do our thing. And I started travel vlogging. And because I was already across the world, it was really cheap to just pick up a ticket to Puddle Jump, to like Samoa, Fiji, just everywhere you could think of. And in my free time, I would just game, and I started building this really cool community just out of the vlogs. But I just felt like there was a bigger creative side of me that wasn't being fed. I loved the editing, I loved exploring and adventuring, but it was still hard on my body. And I found myself getting rather exhausted. And after a couple years of that, I made my way back to the States and started gaming. I would have to drive 45 minutes from my house down to Starbucks, and I would stream from 5 in the morning until 3 p.m. from a Starbucks at the base of our little mountain. And we were playing PUBG and all sorts of stuff.
And you didn't get an endorsement?
I got a lot of free Starbucks.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something.
Yeah, because where I would sit, the workers, when they were bored, they would just like watch my screen and watch me play, and then they started bringing out their phones to see everything that was going on, and it was fun. It was a lot of commitment. That was a lot of energy I used to have when I was young and and still full of life, but we are dead inside now.
Valid.
Yeah. Years went by and I got to go to gaming conventions, video conventions. I got to play a lot of exclusive games before they released and help make them better. I was really involved with EA for a long time. I was one of their Battlefield girls, and I went to Sweden for that. I got sent to Germany for Gamescom. There's just, I think I've been on TV a few times. I know I've been on HGTV for something. There was just a lot of creativity that made me feel alive. And that was just so much fun. I have so much memorabilia all over the place of all of these little things we've done. Life decisions were made, and I settled down. We're just gonna call, you know what I'm talking about. We're just gonna call that my settling down phase, and that made me feel dead inside. I remember sitting in my office and being like, is this life? There's nothing going on. I hate it here. When my friend Danessa started pinging me nonstop on Discord, Sky, you need to come out and play. Sky, you need to watch this thing. It's called Critical Role. Sky, you need to learn what Dungeons and Dragons is. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I can get into that right now. Like, I don't have the free time. Like, I'm heavily monitored. I just don't know. And she's like, you just got to make it happen for yourself. In fact, one of our mutual friends, Allie, is playing a home game. And they're not too far into it. Like, if it seems like your vibe, maybe you should start playing. Like, I was just so hesitant. And then I started getting into Campaign 2 halfway through. And Jester was a thing. Bo was a thing. Yasha was a thing. Caleb was a thing. Like, oh my gosh. I was destroyed. I was like, you mean... everything I've been looking for, creativity-wise, it's this. And it was a huge aha moment. And I messaged Allie, and I was like, hey, who do I need to talk to about trying Dungeons and Dragons for the first time? She's like, oh, reach out to her GM. His name's Matt. Here's the info. And I sent my stuff, and he's like, this is how you build a character. I'm like, cool. I'm sitting there, I make a wizard, and he's like, why are you making such a hard class for your first time ever? And I'm like, is it? He's like, there's a lot of reading. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm that bitch, though.
It's amazing hearing all the things that people told me when I started, just coming from someone else. It's kind of vindication in a way.
And I chose a drow, and he's like, there's so much lore, there's so much stuff, everybody loves drows. I'm like, okay, I don't know what you mean. Well, I played Dragon Age Inquisition. I've played Skyrim. Like, I'm good for this. Fantasy games, woohoo. And And I sat down at our first game ever, and I was scared. There was so much fear. I didn't put on an accent, I just showed up, and the party was really sus of me. I got downed by an ogre almost instantly. So the setup was, okay, you're a necromancer, and you're going to be taking our party through these catacombs because you've found something inside that you're worried about, and you've been investigating this string of magic. But when I met the party, and they knew I was supposed to be their guide through the catacombs, they're like, oh, hey, let's go out to the forest 6 hours instead and go check out this other thing. And then that's when I was like, oh, okay, so this is Dungeons and Dragons. So they were really hard to get to know for the most part, except for Allie's character, who was really warm and welcoming. But then the other ones were edgelords, basically. And it's hard to get to know an edgelord. Let's just be real. Yeah.
I know that feel.
Oh, I know you do.
Yeah, I've apparently been on both sides of that.
And I loved it, and I wanted more. And I had to rearrange my entire life, and it caused a lot of friction in that place I was stuck in. Eventually, everybody opened up to me, and I was able to open up to them. It just took a few episodes, because I know a lot of what I was feeling was also insecurity and just newness. You're surrounded by a bunch of people you don't know. I only knew Allie, and eventually they all warmed up, and I've made forever friends. And what's been so cool, and something that we're witnessing now all these years later, is with Dungeons and Dragons, you have found family. And I live with my found family now. We, like most of this party, we live under one roof now. Someone moved down from Michigan just so we could make this a thing, and it's just so comfortable. And it's something I'm going to be forever thankful for. So we have that campaign. And then from that campaign, we branched out into a different streamed campaign, which we have people in the server that are familiar with it. And I got to play Briar, who I've brought to Quest Junkies. She's in Whitestone. She's got a white. It's so cool. And it's been really eye-opening to see the progression against each table that I've sat at. Like, what is comfortable? What are my boundaries? What can I lean into? What should I lean into? And I think some of the biggest lessons I've learned is you need to always be unapologetically authentic to yourself. You are aspects of your character. You're not your full character. And it's okay to explore things, and it's safe to explore things. And that's what I love about Quest Junkies, is I feel so safe to just exist.
This keeps being brought up on QuestCast, and every time it's like, people are safe. This is the one thing I want. Amazing. I'm very grateful to hear that, because as I've said before now, like, it's the only thing that I'm bothered about. Yeah, I think we've made a really, really nice little place on the internet here, and you know, you're very much part of that. You know, you do a lot behind the scenes to help steer the ship, because fun fact, when you try and do it on your own for like the most of the last 4 years, it kind of wears on you a little bit. So eventually people wear you down with love and compassion to the point where you say, okay, here's things to give to you to help me to do the thing. Yeah, but that's a whole other story. We can do that on when Patch is the guest on Patchcast. Well, Patchcast, no, Patchcast. QuestCast.
There.
I have two different forms of caffeine today. I am being unapologetically authentic right now.
Yeah.
I'm taking your advice.
Yeah. And the thing about Patch is he doesn't stop until he's worn out like the Energizer Bunny. So I think the first thing I've done with Quest Junkies officially, was it Sanctuary first or was it Strahd?
It was neither.
Oh.
Because the first time you appeared on Quest Junkies was a little thing called Honey Heist.
Oh, yeah.
The very first one.
Oh, man. Yeah, and you should have known right then and there Carnage is my gambit. I think I ate fingers then, too.
Why do you think I invited you to a game where the point is carnage? You understood the job assignment before you knew what the job assignment was.
Yeah. Fun fact about me, guys. I'm a villain. I am always a villain, but I'm your villain as long as I like you. And when I don't, cheers. Good luck.
But yeah, that was the very first thing when we did the Honey Heist. It was it set in Redania? I think. Yes, it was. Yeah, because I had to find a way to make Rolls Royces, cryptocurrency.
Yes, you did.
And so much other stuff. Canon in my fantasy, high fantasy world now has at least one burnt out Rolls Royce somewhere in a forest and someone trying to sell bear coin. Yeah, that was, I suppose, pro DM tip for anyone looking for pro DM tips. Be careful about what you allow to be canon in your story from your players. Yeah.
And if you're afraid of things happening, hence dark powers, make it all a dream. Oh, spoiler. But make it all a dream so things can be retconned if needed.
Are we saying that Dark Powers was a dream and not a nightmare?
So we loosely tied everything to the Convergence. And with Strahd, we had learned that we were able to dream share. And something you guys don't know, but behind the scenes, I am transcribing my Strahdalicious notes. And as I write these, my fellow players are going to be seeing why I pulled certain things that I pulled from Strahd to put into the Dark Powers. I wanted to throw them into Pandemonium and a Nightmare Realm, and there are a lot of nightmare tropes like the feeling of sinking and drowning, of respawning when you die, not just like reliving trauma, but just introducing what it's like to be in somebody else's trauma, hopelessness, just like everything. I have a whole list of nightmare tropes that I made sure to tick the boxes off of. Like the paladins, there are reasons why I dislike paladins, and there's a backstory for Illy that, you know, if we meet another cleric and it happens to come up, she might even talk about it. But for me and for what you guys did there, Bree and I had discussed a potential of putting you guys through a sharding gauntlet of sorts. I was trying to figure out how that would work. And in a way, it was a bit of Shar's gauntlet, but it wasn't for you guys. I also had planned for Ileana to be gone after episode 2, and you wouldn't let her go.
I mean, we can't leave one of our femme fatales behind. Come on.
I know. So there was like a lot of adapting, but it was really fun because I still got to play with what your character fears were and see if you turn those into greater weaknesses or strengths, and that was really fun to watch. The mouthy Linnell, incredible.
I mean, I feel like I failed the assignment in many ways, but maybe not. I'm not sure. It was for such a short mini campaign. I think it had such an effect on not just the story of Strahdalicious, but the players. You know, we were joking about this when we recorded the QuestCast episode with Bridget. The whole thing about how, you know, Bridget has always historically feared losing a character. Like, there's been a big fear for Bridget. in Dark Powers, Bridget was like, but what if you don't heal me? But what if maybe I think that's a testament to like how well of an experience you ran, because
thank you.
It was absolutely stellar fun and terrifying and all kinds of awesome. And you know, it had its moments. There was death, there was sadness, there was fear, there was making you voice a goose. Which is one of my proudest Quest Junkies achievements. Truly a wonderful moment. Is there any like particular moments either in Strahdalicious or Dark Powers that like are like a core memory?
Yeah, I have so many. So if we get into Strahd, and I'll go through each. For Linnell, it's Backpack Linnell. That is such a core memory, and I want to do it again because when I did it, it was just instinctual because I was exploring Ileana's feelings with like everybody at the time because like the stuff I write, guys, isn't just normal character notes. I really go through and make my character real. So I think about what she's thinking about and the why, and I give her little flashbacks and impulses. So with Linnell, I was exploring potential feelings with her and where that could go, and if it was even a possibility, because we're stuck in Barovia. There's no telling whether or not we're going to leave, and canonically, Ileana doesn't do feelings and she doesn't do repeats. She's a one and done kind of girl. So Backpack Linnell, she wanted to protect her and give her cover. So she's like, you know what? If the torso's covered, Linnell can reach around. It'll be fine. And then I'm just a meat shield. Good luck trying to get through by a high AC. And that was just like a really good moment. And then that led to like listening for the heartbeat, because I did Lena's instantly, I did Ismark's instantly, but I waited for Linnell. Because again, I was just trying to develop that current and see if it was there. With Avrea, gosh, she's my best friend. Avrea is Ileana's bestie. I think my favorite Strahd moment for Avrea is, like, yes, we have our one-on-ones where we chat, and she's super soft with Avrea when no one's looking. But I love listening to Avrea softly roast everybody. Yep. She's such a bitch. I love her. Like the sass is out of this world. Lena, I have conflicting and interesting feelings about, which you guys will be picking up in those notes. I really love Lena as a character, but there are moments where I feel like she pushes her charged sexuality on people, where it just goes a little too far. And for Ileana, it's, yes, she's a monster fucker, but that's it. People are boring. That's a direct quote in my notebook. People are boring. Give me the monsters. But what she loves about Lena is, even though she's a character that hates herself like so deeply, she just never thinks she's good enough. She keeps trying. And that is such a beautiful character trait to see come to life every episode. And watching her talk to her patron, man, I want to see more of that.
Yeah, I wonder who it is.
Yeah, I have a few ideas. Because it's definitely not Strahd.
No.
It's definitely not Strahd. No. Sarah. My favorite core memory of Sarah from Strahd is the vampire escaping the cellar and her bodying them down. And at the time, that version of Sarah was played by not River, but Sarah. Pie Sarah.
Yes, Sarah played Sarah, which is always confusing.
Yeah. And that was the moment where I was like, I'm into this. I like strong wommies. Sign me up. And then it starts like a whole thing of, is it lust? Are they actual feelings? Is it limerence? And over the next many episodes of notes you guys will be reading, I don't care if it's embarrassing, but like those are the questions over and over again that she's asking herself about every single one of you, except for Avrea. Avrea is thoroughly friend-zoned.
Sorry, C.
I know. I kissed her once. I did in Linnell's little dream sequence. I did.
Oh, God, yeah.
I did kiss Avrea, and that was amazing. And
That was what spawned the spit take. Because it woke Linnell up like internally, and she was like, "Okay, that's never happened before."
Ismark, I know, is an NPC played by Bree. Bree is amazing. I love her to pieces. Just want to smush her, and I feel like our personalities are really similar. So like, I fucking love Bree. Ismark could have been more if it wasn't for the trauma of his dad. Blah blah blah. He's Ismark the Lesser. Blah blah blah. My issue with Ismark is he starts making eyes at Avrea, episode 9, and I picked up on that shit instantly, and he would soften around her bit by bit, even though she was roasting him. But it's like this man is just so infatuated that she can be mean softly, and she is mean softly, and he's just like blaming it on everybody else. You treat me bad, but it's just Avrea's everything. I'm like, she is the hardest on you. Are you kidding me? Can you get your life together? But it's in episode 10 is where I have the problem with Ismark. So we put the dad to rest, and I sent his dad's soul to Shar.
Yeah.
Because fuck the Morning Lord, and not in the fun way. He has Lancelot with him, but isn't using Lancelot for comfort. He's not seeking comfort, and then we find out he's not even a dog person. He thinks Lancelot is a menace and just wants a cat. And I say, we'll find you a cat if that's what you need. We'll get you a comfort squishy. Sarah offers her rat, and he gets grossed out and goes, ew, they're disgusting. They're very dirty. And Avrea goes, oh, but I would love a rat. They're so cute. And then he looks at her like she's stupid, first off. And second, like she's stupid, says, you know they're diseased, right? And she's like, but they're cute and I could heal myself. And it's just undercurrents of Ismark being that way towards Avrea. The rest of Strahd, it just is a big red flag for me. And it makes me want to murder him slowly. And violently. But who knows what's going to happen with this man. But regardless, he and Avrea are not going to end up together at the very end. There's no fucking way. Over my dead body. No, over his dead body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. Even if I need to put him in a pod and ship him elsewhere, we'll do it.
I think with Ismark, the thing that amuses me is his time is probably limited and fleeting. I just can't help but laugh looking back at poor Irina entrusting her brother to us for protection.
Yeah.
She probably signed his death warrant.
Oh, for sure. And should he die, what does that mean for the rest of us? Like, I'm pretty sure Strahd will be like, TPK, will be like, worth it. That's
when Linnell starts getting missed calls from Strahd, like, babe, come back, let's talk.
You know what was weird with Linnell? When we were in the cemetery and there was that guy delivering the letter on the edges, and Linnell's like, oh, I got this, one sec, I'm not worried about it, I'm just gonna go chat with him because we're both like, we both do things with Strahd, it's totally fine. And I was like, you still work for Strahd. You're still in cahoots. But why? Why are you so cool?
She was trying and failing to make a bit of a power move, which is something she never successfully does, especially against Strahdalicious. Yeah, she kind of like in her mind was like, no, okay, if Strahd's now like eyes on us, then I'm gonna send her a fucking message because I have backup now. So fuck this bitch. It probably will have lasting consequences. I don't know. We'll see what Bree's got in mind.
That is, if Strahd is even intimidated by Linnell.
No. She pities Linnell. Like 100%. I'm not a threat.
And how does that feel, being pitied?
Oh, that's complicated. I think she'll get into that when the campaign returns, because Dark Powers specifically put so much into context for Linnell. And it also brought up a lot of new questions that she doesn't have the answers to. And she's probably going to look to the others to help her find those answers. What I'm most curious about, as a little tease of things to come, I'm most curious about the main effect that Dark Powers will have had on her, which is like, she experienced a lot of horror at the hand of Strahd von Zarovich. All the scars, like I think it was nearly like 400 or 500 years she's been doing this undead dance.
Yeah, I think it was like 414, if I'm remembering right.
It was nothing like what she experienced in that brief time in the Dark Powers. So what I'm curious about, because I'm trying to not get into her mindset until we come back, because I want it to be authentic, I want it to be genuine. And I'm curious to find out how she takes that as a case of, is it going to be like, oh, well, Strahd killed me that fucking bad. I survived whatever the fuck that was, fucking Cyric, whatever his name was. She will be fine. Or is she going to go even further the other direction, and is she going to withdraw further? I'm curious to find out when we get there.
Okay. On the opposite side of the spectrum, spend a lot of time in Ileana. Giggity. And when I go through my notes and when I go through and do the edits, I keep reminding myself, because it's so important, how many days has it been? How long have we known each other? Trauma bonds are insane. And the thing is, with the Dark Powers, I specifically made it to where we did not need to sleep. There's no concept of time. You don't know how many days it's been. It just is kind of never ending. And maybe when we come back, it's only been 4 hours. Maybe it's been 8. Maybe we've been in a coma for a week. Who knows? But if it was all here, did it ever really matter?
I've not had enough caffeine for a question that deep.
There are a lot of things that, we're doing behind the scenes, prepping for when Strahd comes back, of why I'm currently prepping in that mindset. Because you guys, so many things have changed. Like, we've been on hiatus for a bit now. Lives are settling down, and eventually we'll be back. And when we are, we're going to hit the ground running. And you guys are not prepared.
No. And those of you that still think you are, and you're like, no, wait, actually I am. No, you're less prepared than the ones who are not questioning it. Seriously.
I'm excited for that first chat that we all have.
Oh, that's the one thing I keep thinking about, like, when I think about us coming back, is just that opening scene. That first moment. And seeing everything converge. All the months of speculation and theory crafting and just everything converging on that one point of, you all wake up. It might not even be you all wake up, because we remember what happened in the end of the Dark Powers.
Yeah.
The lens was broken, I believe the quote was from Bridget.
Yep, I killed Lena, guys.
R.I.P. Suspenders.
R.I.P. Yeah, that's going to be really interesting, because there's no telling what people's mindsets are going to be like when we come back. Like, I keep thinking about Avrea waking up and whether or not she's going to be disappointed or relieved that she's next to Ismark. Because I know instantly she's going to want to talk about what just happened. and see if it was a shared dream. And unlike when we were in that stone circle, we can't just wake up and see each other immediately. She's gonna wake up and see this man. This man who kind of like thinks everything we do is weird or wrong in some way. Like, yes, he's there, he's supportive, but only because he has to. There was a time where he was trying to develop a rapport and be fun, but there's just been so many times where we're fun or we're talking about things and he just turns his nose up at us. So I think her being faced with that and someone who's willing to diminish her excitement or something she wants to talk about is going to be very interesting character development.
Oh, 100%. So much to be excited about. Okay, let's switch things up now. We talked a lot about Strahdalicious. We talked a lot about the dark powers. There's another aspect of Quest Junkies in which we've shared a table and told some amazing stories. Some very, very recently. A little thing called the Circle of Blood and Time, Candela Obscura, run by, I believe, your favorite GM?
My favorite GM, R.I.P. Patch.
Yeah, I mean, totally valid. Totally valid. I wish I had an ounce of the talent that pours out of the wonderful Scarlet song. Hi, Scarlet, I know you're watching this. We are going to gush about you. So just prepare yourself now. How did you find getting into Candela Obscura?
I loved it. Eldritch Horror is my shit. Like, give me body horror, give me noir. It feels cozy. And everybody at that table and everything that they brought, like, one thing that makes me so excited when we all sit down at the table, we don't go through and be like, okay, we're all going to be playing different characters. We could all be playing the same genre, but that rarely ever happens. The detective. God, we love to hate him.
Love to hate him, but no one hates him more than himself.
Exactly.
And possibly Cordelia, maybe. I don't know. But let's talk about Cordelia. Like, what was the inspiration for Cordelia?
There is a book called A Great and Terrible Beauty, where there's this girl, her family, they used to be like archaeologists, and they sent her to a British all-girls school. And she found some arcane rituals. She went with friends. They went on to the other side of the veil, and a lot of those friends died, and it was just her. And then she started getting hunted by this cult faction that figured out she had this ability because they saw her in the other realm. And I was like, you know what? Let's pull something like that. It sounds like a lot of fun. I like playing weird characters with magic. It's my bread and butter. I want to make her a twin. I was watching Vox Machina and I was like, you know what, Delilah? You're my sister now. And then I started thinking, well, what if your sister did exist once, but then she was just in your head? And then I was messaging Scarlett and I said, hey, what if my sister is my bleed detector? Could we make that happen? And then her voice would come through most predominantly when I'm bleeding and can I bleed ink? She has a quill and she's a student. And I started learning what everybody's characters were. So we had you as a detective, Bridget as a reporter, and then later on you come to find Bree is a doctor. And so I looked at everything and I'm like, okay, so let's say that this detective was hired to figure out like what happened to her sister and what happened to these girls. Because Cordelia she either blacked out or is in denial over what happened and did that thing. He failed to do his job and couldn't figure it out. So she hired a reporter who started investigating and did a somewhat better job. And I'm like, okay, so that's going to breed some resentment towards this man. Because that's supposed to be the one thing he's good at. And then Bree messaged me a few days before we started, hey, I'm going to be playing this class. What you would know about me is I have a split personality. And I'm like, oh. And she's like, that's something we bond over. I'm like, yes. And then I met the detective, and he was just so easy to destroy. Like, a soft breeze could blow him over, and that was so fun. And like, much like somebody who likes to play with their food, like I see the detective very much as an olive on a finger, and he would get hurt and we'd just like buff him a little bit, like, oh, there. Continue playing with your food. That's been a joy.
I've noticed you've gotten a lot of joy from it. We've just recorded part 2, and let me tell you, the joy continues.
Oh, yeah. The question is, what are you going to do if I ever decide not to bully you and decide to go the other way?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. Well, we'll cross that graveyard when we come to it. And we will see. I must admit, when they announced Candela Obscura, I was really excited about the idea. Because much like you just said, it fits a lot of the vibes that I look for. And I've always wanted like that kind of storytelling device. And D&D does a lot of things pretty well. It doesn't do like one specific thing incredibly. I almost feel like D&D could benefit from separating a little bit like the World of Darkness games. So you've got Vampire the Masquerade, you've got Changeling the Dreamer, is it? And Werewolf the Apocalypse and Hunter the Reckoning. Like, if D&D did something like that, I feel like it would be easier because, like, with Vampire the Masquerade especially, like, it's a much smaller game, but it feels so much bigger because everything has so much more in it. I feel like Candela as well is a tiny game, but it has so much in it. It quickly became my favorite system. Like, just from that first session, I was starstruck by. I mean, I knew Scarlett was going to nail it because I have had the pleasure of being GM'd by Scarlett before, and Scarlett just hits different. She just hits different, and I just as a fun little sort of tease, Scarlett and I are cooking up a new project for Quest Junkies.
Ooh.
And it is quite a fun one, a big one. I had a conversation with her about how dark Candela was and like the traumatic stuff in it, and I was like, I think this story deserves that, but like tenfold. And Scarlett said something on the lines of, okay, just so you know, Candela Obscura Part 1, like, when you say take the gloves off, that was me, like, pulling one pinky half out of a glove. You want me to pull the gloves off fully? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I don't even know what that looks like, Patch. I was like, well, we're about to find out. So I'm very, very excited for that. But yeah, Candela is just such a fun, unique system, a breath of fresh air. And just, like, the people who made it are so lovely. Like, Spencer and Rowan and the rest at Darrington Press have been so wonderful. Like, when we've reached out about promoting and things like that, and they're just, like, really championing, like, not just us, but other, like, small independent creators. I know quite a few now from, like, I joined the Darrington Press Discord and spoke to a few of them, and yeah, it's fun being in this space on the internet. There's a lot of wonderful things to enjoy in it.
And the next thing that they've been working on is Daggerheart.
I keep eyeing up that limited edition, and I'm like, that would look so good on my bookshelf that I don't own yet.
I would love to have more physical media, but the thing is, we all play online. And something I've learned GMing is pulling out all of these books all the time. It's just so much. It's so much. I love me a good physical book. If I bought a special edition, I'm a person who likes to break open the spine, and I will write notes in my book, and I will just devalue it so quick.
Here's a question for you. What is it, do you think, in your mind, about TTRPG games, especially actual plays, that allows an audience to resonate with the story so much?
I think it all comes down to how invested the table is into their characters. I've seen so many clickbait videos of, you're not an actor, don't try to treat D&D as acting, but on a personal level, I like when people put on different voices. I like it when they get into character. I love when people cosplay or try to do something to kind of look like their character to help people visualize. I love the expressions. Seeing people come up with these ideas and watching their faces go through a myriad of different expressions because they've got something planned and then they have a plan for the plan, and when it breaks the game, it's incredible because you're like, I saw that whole thought play out right there, which is why I struggle with actual plays that don't have people that I can see. When it's just like a picture and they blink, like, yes, that's cool, that's really neat, but I miss out on a different type of journey. So when I make Critical Role content, something I do is recaps of every episode, and I condense it down to 30 to 45 minutes. But I love zooming in on the different players and bumping up their audio so we can hear and see the little things that they're talking about that we're missing. And I don't know, that's what brings me joy, and that's what makes me happy about TTRPG actual plays.
We've gone over a lot about the past. We've talked about the present. Let's talk more about the future. Do you have any current goals or ambitions, whether it's for your own content or for QJ or as a guest on something? Like, it's not the where do you see yourself in 5 years question, which everyone hates, but I suppose easiest way to say it, what are you excited for in the days to come?
Okay, so in the days to come, my Roman Empire is Strahdalicious. I've put in a lot of time to condensing down the 3.5 to 4.5 hours to 1 hour and 22 minutes. We will be releasing that on my channel, which is just growing. I think I'm over 16,000 now.
That's amazing. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. And it's really hard to grow on YouTube, so that's been such a joy. I think I'm just going to trek along and re-release our stuff there to bring more people into QJ, because right now I'm at the point of my life and where I see my future where I want to help nurture the people I love around me so that we can all move forward together. Being able to be in a comfortable space where we can all meet and be face to face and play together at least once. I know we can make this happen. It's just going to take some time. Would love to share a project with Matt Mercer, of course, and that is someone who's in my DMs. And a project I'm really excited to start working on is I'm going to be writing a book. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Hell yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, so my very first D&D character, Amara, my little wizard, I've got so much to work off of, and you've read my notes, I like to write, and using what I have, I know I can make a really good story, or actually a really good series, so I'm gonna be buttoning down the hatches pretty soon and focusing on that.
Hell yeah. Well, that's amazing. I honestly didn't know about that, and I'm very, very excited just at the idea of you doing that, and way to go. Hell yeah.
I'm excited. I'm scared, but you just gotta start.
The fear is good though, because it means you care. It means you really give a shit.
Yeah, and something I keep telling myself is people ask all the time, how do you get started in content creation? All you have to do is upload and press play. That's all you got to do. And that's the mentality I'm going into writing this book with.
Well, I can't wait to see everything that is about to blossom into. It's going to be amazing. And I guess a QuestCast exclusive? Is that a thing?
I guess that's a thing. It is now.
QuestCast exclusive, there you go. You were here first. Oh god, now we're going to see people commenting first on videos. Please don't do that.
Oh, no.
And now that I've said that, everyone's going to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I never learn.
For the memes.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
You have a question for me? By all means.
And this kind of puts you on blast a little bit. I understand there's not enough time in the day, and we all have very busy schedules. But you know what was released for a little teaser to happen in 2024 that I've heard nothing about?
Yes, I do.
The Last of Us?
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be a thing in 2025?
You know what? Yes, it is. Because I have made some progress on that because I actually have settled on a system for it, which means I can do the rest of the planning. Yeah, so shout out to Pattoons, our wonderful Patrick in the community. He found that someone actually made a Last of Us system, and it's like they just put it up on, I think it was Etsy, just like, here, if you want to do that, here, just buy it, and it was like super cheap. So I bought it. And then he did one for, I think it was The Last of Us. There's one for Attack on Titan, which was another thing that I wanted to try and do something with. And then the third one was, I think that was the Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he just had these things. That's all that was on this store. Like, I'll find the store and I'll put a link in the description. I don't have it to hand. But yeah, that the system is decided. So once I have the spoons,
yeah,
yes, 2025. I mean, if I do it properly, we could plan it for when the show comes out, which would probably be somewhat beneficial because they just dropped a trailer, didn't they?
And I just did a review on it.
And I just watched that review. That's how I found out.
Oh, okay. Fun fact, we watch each other's content religiously.
Mm-hmm. I mean, someone has to watch my content, so...
Yeah, it's me. Hi. The problem is
you are
me.
the problem.
Yeah. What are you excited for in the future? What is something you want to do?
I mean, I want to do all the things, and overcommitting is my problem.
Yeah.
And that's the battle that I've been battling for years and continue to battle now. I'm doing a little better now. You know, we're in the midst of a somewhat extended hiatus on Quest Junkies in terms of our weekly live streams. By the time this airs, you'll have already seen the video that I put out, which goes into detail about what the fuck is up with that. But you know, I can talk about that a little bit now, sort of more publicly. I always had a fear of losing the live element of our shows because it was something that we have had so much praise on. Like ever since we first started, when barely anyone was watching us, like it was the fact that we were in game, but we could also still respond to chat live. We could let chat influence the game. Like that was a draw. And I was always really scared of moving away from that. But sometimes life doesn't give you a choice because you get sick, you get burnt out, you get tired. And once you're all of those things, then you're at risk of getting to the final stage of that, which is you lose the motivation. And I don't ever want to lose the motivation for Quest Junkies because this is I've done many creative things with my life. This is the first one that really made sense. And it's the first one that had a real impact. But that's where the overcommittal comes from as well, because it's like, you know, I'll deal with the physical burnout because the emotional burnout of saying no to a project that I really want to do is going to mess with my brain so badly. So yeah, I'll just take on all the things. But I'm working on that.
You know what? I'm going to forgive you, Patch. I'm about to do a call out and you leave this in.
Oh, okay.
If you are listening and watching, down below there is a link to our Streamlabs. If you are doing well, right? If you are comfortable and you love our stories, you love our content, please just tip something. That is something I feel like is not said enough because we're afraid to say things like that, but I enjoy being here and I want more content, and I don't think it's fair for it all to come down on your shoulders and your wallet. especially if I'm taking part. So if you guys are doing well and you have the extra $5, buy a patch of coffee, just put it in there. Please, I beg. You can feel awkward about it, but sometimes someone needs to say it. You do an incredible job.
Thank you. I mean, when it comes to coffee, like, I'm Patch Kelly and I endorse this message. But no, thank you. That does mean a lot. Like, yeah, there is a weird and awkward wall to break through or climb over when it comes to, like, you know, do you want to be seen as that person that is like, you know, hey, could you do us a favor? Kind of like, it's
right. And no one wants to be pay to play. Like that's not the goal. And that's a toxic place to be. But what I'm saying is, if you're comfortable and you can burn it.
Burn away, but don't burn yourself too badly.
Yeah.
Take it from someone who is burnt out. But to circle back to the original question, what am I excited about? If I was to be honest, the thing that I'm most excited about at the moment is the potential of finding a new job so that I can finally move into the house that me and the love of my life picked up back in March. I think it was March. It is now almost October. I'm yet to move in because I can't do the commute to my current job from there because it takes like over 3 hours, which when you do 10-hour days is, you know, I'm trying to live with my fiance so that I can see my fiance. And when you end up commuting for like 6 to 7 hours every day, that's just not going to happen.
No, it's not.
But as well as the sheer amazingness of being able to, you know, settle down and start our life together the way that we've been talking about for so long, it will offer me more freedom to be able to do this and have less of a weight on my shoulders because I'll have more room to breathe, if that makes sense. Because, you know, I have to keep my weekends as family time. I have to. Like, the most that I can push is the Avernus stream, which is bi-weekly, like, right before I go to bed. Like, that's as much as I can give. But as soon as this changes, then, you know, we're looking at Strahdalicious. We're looking at openings for more things like one-shots. We could do stuff like this. And I'm most excited about the same thing that I've always been excited. Because I think at Quest Junkies, the way that I've always phrased this is, we have lightning in a ball here. There is so much potential, and that is it. Quest Junkies is the sum of its parts. You know, every single person that is involved in Quest Junkies is an incredibly talented person, an incredibly talented creator with so much to give to the world. And I'm not bothered about my name getting out there and being famous and successful. I couldn't care less. I want Quest Junkies to do well because it offers you and the rest of QJ to get your names out there so that you guys are noticed for the talent that you have, because that's what matters. And I think we could do it. I think we can do real fucking well.
I do not care if my name ever gets anywhere as long as I can share stories with people. That's all I care about.
Especially if they're bullying detectives. Like that.
And especially if those detectives make it so easy.
Yes. So, to sort of close things off, is there anything, like, I know you've just done the big, like, call to action, so to speak, but, like, is there anything in particular you would want people watching this to take away from listening to your story and your journey?
I would say that if you ever feel stuck in your life, there is absolutely a way out. Escapism takes many forms, and sometimes getting out of your situation will take longer than you hope. But everything passes. All you can do is chase your dreams and be happy. Like, life is so short. So short to be stuck. So pick up some dice, make some friends, and chances are you'll have a newfound family.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, my dear friend, for taking the time out to join the QuestCast and share your story. Please tell everyone where they can find you and support your creative endeavors. Okay,
you can find me mostly on YouTube under Sky McSparkle and here on Quest Junkies. And I think that's it. I don't have any big Oh, actually, I am voice acting in something that's going to be released in, I think, 2025, and I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it yet.
Oh, no.
And I play a villain, so...
This really is the QuestCast exclusive.
Right? So, like, stay tuned. Yeah, we'll see you here on the channel. We have Vampire the Masquerade that we'll be filming shortly and bringing to you guys. And then I have Space Stories. I'm going to be GMing a Lost in Space episode where I'm going to reach out to some buddies and make them play some of Ileana's crew members as we go find a ship that is stuck floating dead in space. And then we're going to be reaching out to people from other D&D communities to come play with us and see what happens.
Hell yeah. So if you're from another D&D community and you see us in our DMs, let's talk.
Hi.
Well, thank you so much, Sky. Always a pleasure to even just chat with you. This was fun, it was educational, it was moving, and I'm sad it's over. But you know what? There's so much on the horizon I can't wait to see. So, thank you so much for joining. Thank you to the wailing cat that just joined us at the very end. Thank you to everyone for watching. There are more of these on the channel. If you haven't seen any of the previous ones, we've talked to some of the other QJs, and we've got more in the works. So do check them out. And yeah, all the love to you guys. And if there's anything else left to say, keep questing, QJs. Good night.
Bye.